even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never got in any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like those are federal informants. Like, you know.
You think they're really out there?
Because if it ain't that, is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you? Did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make no sense.
So that would be the question. What is it?
What is
Why?
it?
Why did you do this to me?
Katt Williams has done it again, and by done it, I mean he's dropped another bombshell in a no-holds-barred interview. Just like the one he did last year with Club Shay, which, by the way, the world is still trying to recover from. Katt spilled some seriously hot industry tea, as he tends to do, and one thing that really got people talking was when he brought up certain rappers in the industry being federal informants. Naturally, people immediately started thinking about one name, Jay-Z. For years, there have been rumors about Jay-Z's Day of Reckoning being just around the corner, but somehow that day never comes. Meanwhile, everyone around him keeps getting taken down by the feds. According to Katt, that's because Jay-Z will never be touched. He's one of them. But wait, is Jay-Z actually working with the feds? And what did Katt say about your favorite rappers being snitches? Let's break it down. Katt Williams is. Yearly industry-shaking interviews are becoming quite the event, and honestly, we're all here for it. His interview with Club Shay last year completely rattled the industry, with many of the things he said coming to pass. It was like he had a crystal ball. From Diddy to Steve Harvey to the industry's hidden secrets, Katt really opened our eyes. Now, he's back at it, this time in an explosive interview with Theo Von. He discussed everything from industry scandals to reincarnation, politics, and, yes, snitches. The moment Katt mentioned snitches, everyone's mind immediately went to Jay-Z. Isn't it strange that almost everyone around Jay-Z has been caught up by the feds, yet Jay-Z himself remains untouched? According to Katt, it's not that strange, because Jay-Z is protected. He's untouchable because he's working with the feds. To really understand Jay's ties to the feds, we have to go way back. As many of you know, Jay-Z was involved in some unsavory dealings before his music career took off. Back then, he had a close friend named DeHaven. The two grew up together in the Marcy projects and were tight, with Jay being the godfather to DeHaven's daughter. They worked closely together, and DeHaven played a key role in Jay-Z's rise. But everything changed after one fateful night when their lives took a dark turn.
Desiree Perez became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s after her 1994 arrest for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine. Perez struck a deal with the feds, agreeing to wear a hidden wire to record her meetings with major cocaine traffic cartel. Her undercover informant work won her courtroom praise for federal prosecutors, as did mine, after she helped them break up major drug dealers in Puerto Rico and Colombia. You see Meek Mill right here with Desiree Perez, right? She's part of his bail with Jay-Z. This part of Rock Nation, right? She's a executive at Rock Nation. But then you go saying, yo, listen, we don't fuck with rats. Your executive is a rat. So you pick and choose? Because if you don't want to be around rats completely, you're with a rat right there. She cooperated for the DEA. Meek Mill, you can't pick and choose who you want to call rats. You can't say this is fake. This is on public information. This was on the New York Times. What are you going to say? No, I didn't know. You know.
DeHaven and Jay-Z went to pick up a fresh batch of product, but before they could make it back, they were ambushed. DeHaven, trying to protect Jay, got hit and nearly lost his life. He barely managed to get to a hospital. But when DeHaven and Jay-Z were caught up in a case, DeHaven ended up with a 5-year sentence, while Jay-Z walked free. You'd think Jay would stand by DeHaven's side, but instead, he allegedly turned his back on him, accusing DeHaven of snitching in his track No Hook. DeHaven denies being a snitch, but the betrayal cut deep. While Jay-Z was building his empire, DeHaven was left to fend for himself. Years later, DeHaven spoke out in an explosive interview, revealing that Jay-Z's success was due in part to his ties to Desiree Perez, a former federal informant. Desiree Perez, now president of Roc Nation and Jay-Z's right-hand woman, has a shady past. She was once arrested for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine and conspiracy to distribute drugs. Authorities believe she was part of a larger cartel operation, and she ended up cooperating with the feds, wearing wires to gather information on her former partners. Despite her criminal record, she only received 5 years of probation after agreeing to become an informant. Interestingly, Desiree's past didn't stop Jay-Z from making her the CEO of Roc Nation. But this raises a lot of questions. How could Jay-Z, who accused his old friend of snitching, make a former federal informant his second-in-command? Desiree's ties to the criminal underworld are even more interesting when you consider her connection to Griselda Blanco, the notorious Colombian drug lord. Desiree's husband, Juan O.G. Perez, was allegedly connected to Blanco, and his close relationship with Jay-Z went way back. Even before founding the 40/40 Club together, it's believed that Jay-Z and OG Juan had shared business interests, if you know what I mean. After Desiree's arrest, she became an informant, helping the feds take down major drug dealers. And, yet, her partnership with Jay-Z seems to be ignored by most, despite the fact that she's a known informant. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Meek Mill, who had once called out Tekashi 6699 for snitching, was later caught in a similar situation. Meek was seen with Desiree Perez, the same woman he criticized for being a snitch. It's hard to ignore the irony of his situation, working with someone who helped him avoid jail, but publicly denouncing others for doing the same thing. All of this leads to the question, is Jay-Z untouchable because he's working with the feds? Katt Williams thinks so. According to him, many of your favorite rappers are in the same boat. They're informants, willing to turn on anyone if it helps them advance. So what do you think? Is Jay-Z really untouchable because he's protected by the feds, or is this all just a stretch? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to stay tuned for the next video.